Hello, everyone. I hope you are all having a wonderful day. First of all, I would like to say that I am deeply honored to stand in front of you today. And I'm so happy that today I'm giving this webinar for all of you. I hope you all will enjoy. But before starting, first, I want to give you a little bit information about our project, what we are doing, what is PINC Project, what are the main objectives of our project, and what are the main activities. So PINC Project is focusing on empowering preschool educators, best practices and resources for inclusion of children with behavioral disabilities. And PINC is an Erasmus Plus KA2 project, and it mainly wishes to promote cooperation among educational institutions, organizations, and stakeholders across Europe. And also it aims to enhance the quality and accessibility of education. The duration of the project actually is 33 months, almost 3 years, and this is our second year. So we are doing our best to reach our goals. And now I would like to give a little bit information about our partners. Our first partner is Erasmus Learning Academy, which is in Italy. And the second one is Erasmus Learning Academy in Spain. Third one is Catino DNLS Mokulka. It's the school I am working. And the fourth one is Gradinita su program prelungit, number 77, Braila. So if I pronounce it wrong, I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to do my best. And the last one is Rakvere Kungla Lastiaet. So, and this is in Estonia. Before moving to the next slide, I want to say thank you to all of our partners for their cooperation, for their contributions, and for their insights to the project. And now I want to give a little bit information about our objectives. Our first objective is raising awareness on early age disabilities and specifically among educators and parents. And the second one is sharing best practices among educators to address the target group. And the third one is to empowering preschool teachers with competences to let them implement inclusive education in educational settings. And the fourth one is to foster international cooperation in the field of inclusion for children with disabilities. So, and our target groups are, first target group is preschool teachers, educators, and other personnel. Second target group is preschool teacher trainers and educators. Those are providing courses for them. And the third one are children with disabilities aged 0-6, and of course their parents. When it comes to our activities, I want to divide them into 6 different groups. First one is a reflection tool. This is a comprehensive instrument designed to promote reflection, dialogue, and awareness regarding disability and inclusion themes within preschool settings, let's say. And the second one is awareness campaign, which aims to increase understanding and awareness of inclusion and diversity in early childhood education. And the third one is inclusive best practices webinars. This is mainly what we are doing now, featuring expert speakers, sharing strategies, resources, and insights on fostering inclusion in preschool settings. So, and the third one is best practices, open educational resources, providing free materials and resources to showcase effective strategies for inclusive education. And the fourth one is training course for preschool teachers. This is mainly for educators to equip them with necessary materials to implement inclusive practices in their classrooms. Last but not least, Preschool Kit. This is a curated collection of resources, activities, and tools which promote inclusive learning environments and promote engagement and understanding, of course. I think that's all what I would like to say. And now I want to slowly move to our slide. So that's all. You should see the slides now. Okay, I made it full screen. Yes, now I want to move to our slide. Today, I'm gonna talk about practical strategies and resources for children, for caregivers and parents of children with special educational needs. And before starting, of course, I want to give a little bit of information about myself, what I did, what I studied, and in which area I specialized. So my name is Shovkat Mammadaliyeva, and I am from Azerbaijan, from the land of the fire. And I studied my bachelor's degree back in my country in Azerbaijan. I studied psychology. After graduating, I decided to pursue my master's degree in social work with children and youth, which led to my acceptance of fully funded Erasmus Mundus scholarship. And I would say this experience let me study in 4 different countries, in Lithuania, Latvia, Slovakia, and Portugal. When it comes to my work experience, I worked for 2 years as an applied behavioral analyst with children with special educational needs. There, I was using ABA techniques to reinforce them and to teach them kind of social and academic skills. Also, I took part in a project which was funded by British Petroleum, and I worked there as a career development tutor. Besides, I also worked as an English teacher in Caritas International. I was teaching English to refugee kids from Syria, Ukraine, and Turkey. Besides that, I also have an experience as a trainer at FSA. There, I was organizing workshops for secondary school children to inform them how we should combat the stigma of mental health disorders. And also I worked as a hypnotherapist, and those who don't know, I can talk a little bit about this therapy. So this is basically animal-assisted therapy, and we use horses for those therapies. So it's kind of for people with intellectual and physical disabilities to help them increase their motor and social skills. I think that's all what I want to say from my side about me, actually. And now, before starting, I also want to kind of give a small quote from Albert Einstein, just to show you that why we need to be respectful and understanding towards people with disabilities. It's just like friendly reminder for everyone. I'm sure you are all practicing it well, but I time to time realize that people with disabilities might be isolated by other people because they tend to have different behaviors which can be seen as different by other people, but it's always best to accept them as they are. So, as Albert Einstein said, everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it's gonna live its whole life believing that it's stupid. So let's just be respectful and understanding towards each other, and not to judge anyone, and accept everyone as the way they are. Thank you so much. And now I want to give you a little bit information about the program of the webinar. First, I will have an introduction part where I will give you information about children with special educational needs. And the second part, I will give you a little bit information about the main struggles of parenting a child with special educational needs. And in the third part, I will give you information about the essential role of parents in supporting children with special educational needs. And in the fourth part, of course, I will give you information about practical resources and strategies for caregivers and, of course, for parents. And in the last section, we will have Q&A session where you can give your questions and I can answer all of them. So now I want to start with the first part, but before starting, I would like to drink a little bit water. So here I'm gonna talk about different types of disabilities. So I would say we can divide disabilities in children into four main categories. The first one is communication and interaction. Some children might have difficulties in communication and interaction, in understanding spoken language, and also in responding to other people's questions and needs. And in those groups, we can include people with autism spectrum disorder and also with different kind of speech disorders. And the second one is cognition and learning needs. Some children might have different kind of difficulties and challenges in specific areas, which can cause certain disabilities. For example, dyslexia. Those people might have a problem with reading and spelling. Another one is dyspraxia. They might have deficiencies in coordination. And you can also see dyscalculia. This is a very interesting one. Those people can have deficiencies in doing mathematical things. And also you can see dysgraphia as well. Like those kids might have difficulties in writing. So that's generally, we include those people in this group. So, and the third one is social, mental, and emotional health. In this group, we can include people with autism spectrum disorder again, and also we can include people with attention deficit disorder and people with attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder. Last but not least, we can include people with sensory and physical needs. Those people can have disabilities such as visual impairment, hearing impairment, or maybe multisensory impairment, and even people with cerebral palsy are also included in this category. Now I want to give you a little bit information about the general statistics about children with disabilities. And according to UNICEF, 2,400 million children have certain kind of disability, which means that 1 out of 10 children has a disability. This might be seen as a small number, but this is actually a huge number, and this is an alarming number, I would say. Also, I want to mention that according to World Health Organization, 1 out of 100 children has autism spectrum disorder. And also it was found that in US, every year, 5,700 children are born with Down syndrome. Those are general statistics about Down and autism, but also there are some statistics which shows which was mentioned in UNICEF's website. So, and it was mentioned about 2% of children aged 2 to 4 have learning disabilities. And also it was mentioned that children aged 5 to 17. So 0.7% of these children have walking disabilities, and 0.3% of these children have hearing impairments, and 0.4% of these children have visual disabilities. Also, it's worth to mention that UNICEF find out that children with disabilities are 49% more likely to have never attended school. This is an alarming gap, an alarming number, which requires more attention, not from only from the government, but also from educators, teachers, from parents, from everyone. So, now I want to give a little bit information about the struggles of parenting a child with special needs. So first one is, of course, emotional stress. So what does emotional stress means here? So unfortunately, parents with children with special educational needs, they might experience emotional stress time to time. And according to some studies, actually, parents with children with developmental delays are more likely to experience stress in comparison with other parents. And also it was found that when parents' stress level is increasing, it also affects their parenting skill. So they might show poor parenting skills. And of course, when you experience stress, cortisol level is increasing in your body, and it also increases glucocorticoids in your body. So that's why you might observe some challenges, let's say, so which can affect you. That's why you need to be very, very mindful about what you are doing and what you need to do in that regard. And of course, for a long term, it can cause Alzheimer, and also it can cause some problems with memory, attention, and learning. So for parents, it's a big challenge. And of course, another challenge is related to advocacy. So what I mean, it's related to advocacy. Of course, after they getting diagnosed, parents try to advocate for their kids' right. And what they are mainly trying to do, of course, they are trying to protect their children's right, and they're trying to be by their side. But sometimes some parents might see it as a stressor, which can add more pressure on them and can cause more stress on them, can increase their stress level, actually. So that's, of course, pose another challenge for them. Also, some parents might not be able to understand how to protect their kids' right. So, of course, this challenge is also a huge challenge and needs more attention. And another one is social isolation and stigma. So I would like to mention that even though parents are aware that this can happen to anyone and this is actually normal, still some parents see it as a burden, and they think that not only their kids but also they are marked. So, and this mindset affects them, and they start to feel isolated. And actually, I would say also other people cause this problem, because some people might, for example, some parents are not willing to let their kid to play with a child with autism. So that's why they start to feel very isolated and stigmatized. And of course, this challenge is a huge for them. And another one is navigating complex healthcare systems. It was found that fewer than 20% of children with disabilities have access to a high quality system, healthcare system. This number is this is actually an alarming gap and requires more attention from us. That's why I understand when parents express themselves that they are struggling to navigate healthcare systems. It's completely normal because most parents with those children have this experience. And another one is behavior management. So unfortunately, children with special educational needs might show some behavioral challenges. So it might arise from family dynamics, from biological factors, from community stressors, or it can be school challenges. But unfortunately, parents find it very difficult to handle. So I was having one case where there was one child and he was all day was taking a knife and attacking to his parents, but apparently he was seeing it as a game. So of course it was scaring them. It was very difficult for them to handle with it. So that's why I completely understand when I hear this from parents. And another one is time management. Unfortunately, parents of children with special educational needs find it difficult to manage their time. It creates time pressures for them, and they struggle to keep work-life balance and also address the needs of their children. So that's why it also poses another challenge for them. And another one is financial strain and career sacrifices. According to statistics, 42% of families with children with special educational needs have experienced food insecurity, and 60% of them struggle with paying medical expenses, while only 70% of parents without those kids experience it. So you can see the huge gap. Unfortunately, this is real, and because they require so many therapies, so many resources, that's why it's very costly. Also, you can see some career sacrifices from parents. I was having one mother, she was working as a teacher and she was such a really great teacher, but unfortunately she had to quit because she needed to give her full attention to her child. That's why she had to quit the job, which was unfortunate for her. And the last one is, of course, lack of accessible community resources. So parents of children with special educational needs find it difficult to have an access to community resources, specifically limited access to specialized services, support networks, and educational services. It makes them feel overwhelmed, because there is, in some countries, even in my country too, there is lack of those services. So, and you need to wait for a long time to have an access to those services. And also people with physical disabilities, sometimes you can see that in transportation, they might have difficulties. So this is an ongoing problem still. So that's why we need to, as a government, we need to focus on it, what we need to do in that regard. Ilgun, I think we have just 2 minutes left, so maybe we can stop recording and again start to record. So now I'm gonna slowly move to the essential role of parents in supporting children with special educational needs. So in this section, I'm gonna talk about why parents and caregivers play a crucial role in supporting those children. So first of all, it's important to be a strategic advocate. So what I mean by saying being a strategic advocate is being aware of their kids' rights and being aware of what to do, what steps they need to take when they feel like the government or the services are not meeting the needs of their kids. So in that situation, parents might use different kind of apps such as Birdhouse or Autism Tracker, so to track their kids' behaviors, emotions, and learning milestones. And also, they need to be strong enough to kind of protect themselves and their children when they feel like schools and our educational settings resist, because sometimes you can see that even though many schools, many educational settings are open to accept children with special educational needs, sometimes parents might feel a bit worried about letting their kids studying with kids with special educational needs. So this concern can cause a huge problem, because some schools might refuse to accept kids with special educational needs. So in that regard, parents should be a strategic advocate and should cite legal precedents that set standards for accommodating disabilities. And the second one is creating a sensory-friendly home. What does it mean? It means that they need to implement a sensory diet, which is personalized activity plan. This is mainly developed by occupational therapists. So sometimes you can see that children with educational needs, children with special educational needs might have different kind of sensitivities to different things. So they might have certain reactions to sounds. So maybe you can use noise canceling headphones, and sometimes they might be sensitive towards different kind of lights. So, and this kind of lights can kind of disturb them and trigger them. So that's why it's important to use smart lighting, to like dimming lights, kind of. That's what we mean by saying a sensory diet. And the third one is, of course, mastering collaborative tools and methods. So what we mean, maybe they can use Google Docs, or maybe they can use ClassDojo for real-time updates between home and school. And also they might consider to have a weekly multidisciplinary team meetings, or maybe monthly, just to meet with social workers, with psychologists, or maybe with therapists and with speech therapists and with teachers, just to be updated about the situation and just to see that what's going on with their kids. Is there any need to do some changes, modifications or not? And another one is understanding cutting-edge therapies. So they need to be aware where they need to use occupational therapies, where they need to use, let's say, applied behavioral analysis, ABA therapy, or other speech therapies. But that's why they need to be updated about those therapies, and they need to understand that's why their children need it. So in that situation, they can also use AI-powered tools or apps designed for their kids, just to track the development of their kids. So that's what I also meant by saying understanding cutting-edge tools as well. And then another one is proactively empowering the child. So what we mean that parents should be mindful to have real life stories and to kind of let their children practice certain things, so which will help them to practice them in real life when they will face these certain things in future. So And another one is advanced advocacy. So they might think about getting help from professionals such as consultant or advocate who is specialized in special educational needs and who might review their individualized education plan or 504 plan, just to be sure that they are relevant to their child. Because sometimes at schools you can see that they do assessments, but sometimes those assessments are not so accurate, and that's why they might need to do some changes in their individualized education plans. And here I want to talk about practical resources now for parents and for caregivers, of course. First, I want to talk about Birdhouse. Birdhouse is an educational program, and this is actually US based, but I assume that if you would use VPN or other tools, you can have an access easily to this program. And I would say that this program is assisting families in systematically monitoring their children's improvement, generally various dimensions of autism. So I would say this is like 5 main dimensions: mood, food, behavior, health, and report. So in the mood section, parents can track their kids' mood swings. And in the food section, if a child follows certain diet, parents might track those certain diets in this app. And in the health part, they can see their sleep patterns or bowel movements. And also in the behavior part, they can see if their children has specific behaviors such as bolting, self-injuries, maybe showing tantrums or hurting other people. And the report section, and this is very useful because it helps them to kind of, let's say, see a comprehensive view of all the development, so all the information uploaded in the app. So as you can see here, I mentioned that the app supports customization, allow users to arrange screens, modify categories, and it has tracking items to align with individual needs. And another one is Tolkido. Tolkido, this is the one that I really, really love. And it's created in Turkey. When I was working as an applied behavioral analysis, I was also using this app and this tool. So as you can see, there is a yellow tool, which is Tolkido. We call it Tolkido. And also there are some certain cards you can find. So in these cards, you can upload different kind of voice notes, which can help kids to follow their daily routine, such as, for example, when they take the card and tap it on a Tolkido, it's gonna give them certain instruction that do this, or this. So it's very helpful in that sense. Or maybe it can be also used as an learning tool. So for example, if a child is struggling to pronounce certain words, they can use those cards, and once they tap it, they can hear it and they can repeat it. So that's why it's very, very useful. And also in the app, you can track the development and of the child and what areas the child improved himself or herself. And also it can be audio support, as you can see here. It's usually promoting independence and the focus on reducing frustration and also enhance the quality of life for individuals with autism. And another one is Otsimo Special Education. This is also an educational game application, and this is designed for children with special needs. And it has 2 sections. First section is game section. Here you can find different developmental games. And also there is a second part, which is parent section. This is offered tools to further customize the learning experience, adjust difficulty settings, and also monitor overall the child's progress. So I would say this is also very, very useful tool for kids with special educational needs. And another one is Autism Tracker Pro. This is also an educational app. This is also assist families in monitoring various aspects of autism. I would say this is very, very similar to Birdhouse, but also it has differences because when you enter the app, the system is completely different actually. But it also has mood, behavior, food, health, and report section, which is totally same with the Birdhouse. I would say Birdhouse is better than this one, but this is also very, very useful. And here I put some key features. You may find them and you can choose in between which one would you prefer. So this one is my favorite one, Seeing AI. This is developed, this is artificial intelligence application, and this is developed by Microsoft, and it's mainly used for people with visual impairment. So it helps them to kind of describe the scene, describe the object, or maybe describe the color, the light, the faces. It can also have like voice feedback. So this is very, very useful. Yeah, maybe you would think that why we need to use it in special educational education. I would say you can use because definitely there are kids with special educational needs, those who have visual impairment. So that's why it's also very, very important to be mindful about this tool as well. I actually suggest, I hope you all took a screenshot of this programs and applications. Yes, here we are. Now I want to show you some websites and online communities that you may find it maybe useful. I also suggested to take a screenshot of this. Parenting.com, healthchildren.org, 0 to 3, this one is very good one. Autism Speaks.org, Autism.org UK, and also attitudemag.com, ldonline.org, chat.org, spdfoundation.net, contact.org UK, and specialneedsjungle.com. Those are websites that you can use to find important resources and materials for understanding more about special educational need. And here we are, you can see some online communities. Those are very useful when maybe parents or maybe caregivers, maybe they need some help, they want to seek advice, or they want to share their experiences. So of course they can use those online communities and interact with people with similar experiences. And now, last but not least, I want to definitely give more detailed information about applied behavioral analysis. This is the area I'm specialized. So, and this is called ABA therapy, and it uses principle of learning and reinforcement to improve specific behavior, such as communication, social skills, self-care, motor skills. But its main aim to teaching those skills is by breaking them into small tasks. So this is the main logic of discrete trial training. So when we want to teach something to the child, we need to break them into small tasks. For example, I want to teach a child how to dress a coat. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna first teach how to dress first one arm, and then the next arm, and then how we put them together, and then how we zip it. This is like step by step to teach them how to do it like slowly. But also when we talk about ABA therapy, we also need to talk about prompting. I won't explain more about that, but I want to show it based on an example. For example, I want to teach a child color yellow, and I have a yellow color card. So what I'm gonna do, we are sitting face to face, and I'm showing the card, and I'm asking to the child, what color is this? And if a child doesn't respond, I need to prompt it immediately to prevent any kind of further error. And I say yellow. You need to use the verb say. The main reason is that it kind of gives a child an instruction. And if a child says yellow, we have, by the way, a reward chart for kids in ABA therapy. So there you can put symbols, and in the back there are different kind of rewards. So it can be like using, like playing with cars, like iPad, or maybe eating something they really like. So once they say something right, for example, we have one symbol, we give one symbol to the child, and maybe there are 5 symbols. And for every right reaction, you need to give one symbol, and also we need to verbally confirm that you did right, well done. So basically, when a child says yellow, you need to give one symbol. And later on, you need to ask it again. And if you get an independent response, you definitely need to give one more. And then in the middle, you need to have a little bit, a small distraction. So what I mean by distraction, maybe you can say clap your hands, or maybe you can say show your head, or maybe you can say show your shoulders. So it just gives you some few seconds just to let the child memorize it. And after that, you need to ask it again, what color is this? And if a child says yellow, you need to give one more symbol, and you need to celebrate it like very, very, I don't know how to explain it, but like you need to celebrate it in a nice way that will get a child's attention. So he will be more willing to give you more. So overall, what is the logic of ABA therapy? We give one stimul, was say yellow. And then later on, we not hearing any response, stimul, response, there is no response, we give one more stimul. And then when we get response, we give one more stimul, and we are saying it, well done, you did it right. So that's the basic logic of ABA therapy, but I would definitely say that there are more things than that. And there is one thing, for example, if we are teaching a child, and if we are seeing that there is something going on, there is a crisis, ongoing crisis. So what we're gonna do, we need to take a child to the timeout room. So it's like, we call it timeout. So we have a room. We had a room in my previous workplace. So it was all covered with a pillow, and it was our timeout place. We were letting a child to go there if they're angry or if they're hurting other people. So we give them time, and they need to calm down in that place. The main logic why we cover it with pillow, because sometimes they tend to hurt themselves as well. So that's also part of ABA therapy. But as I said, there are so many things that I would like to say, but unfortunately our time is limited. So I just wanted to give you basic information a little bit about ABA therapy and what I was doing. Here we are, our Q&A session. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. You can reach out through my email. I think it should be somewhere here. Okay. So I think that's all from my side. Thank you so much for attending to the webinar, and I wish you a pleasant day. I hope you all managed to learn something from the webinar, and I hope it was beneficial for you, and maybe you can pass the information to other people. Thank you so much again, and have a lovely day.